Hello everybody, this is Amitabh Bachchan and I'm privileged to have Nag Ashwin here, the director of Kalki.
Full privilege.
And it's 8 o'clock in the morning here in Mumbai. And I've just come back at about 3 in the morning after seeing Kalki for the third time. And just cannot explain the wonder and the experience that all my friends, we watched the film again. And so I thought that there are many aspects of the film, Nagi, which a lot of people put questions to. And in my mind also, there is a lot that comes to me when I think about Kalki. Explain not just to me, but to the audience in general, how you thought of. When we spoke to Priyanka and Sapna, they said, after the last film, they waited and asked you what you're going to do next, and you said, I don't know. And almost after a year or so, you went to them and said, I have something. And after that, Priyanka was saying that after hearing it, I couldn't sleep for a couple of days. And then she rang up Sapna and said, we have to start getting to work on this. So, what went through your mind and how did you conceive this?
To be very honest, sir, I thought this story would be probably one of the last films I'll ever make. Like, I thought this would be my retirement film. But
yeah,
and
we won't let you do that.
Yeah, and I had like a smaller story, maybe something that was not as ambitious as this that I wanted to start off with, and somewhere along the way, like those few months after Mahanati, I was coming across either articles or like some sort of videos about the Chiranjeevis or about some sort of a Mahabharata connect, and I was even seeing some articles where I was seeing that maybe some production houses in Bollywood were starting to think about Mahabharata or Ramayana and all of that at that time, and I had this story, I had a germ of this story already by then, and I was like, okay, so maybe it's time to bring this out of hibernation. And I took it out and I started living with it for a few weeks, and I realized that the energy that it would probably require to bring this to life and to bring it in front of people was something that I probably had now. And I don't think, to be honest, me, Swapna or Priyanka fully knew what we were getting into when we had that first narration.
That's what they also said, they suddenly realized, oh my God, we need to start working on this now if this concept and this dream has to fructify.
Yeah, we started with one concept artist and we thought, we'll conceptualize the main sequences of the film. But as we kept going deeper into that rabbit hole, so to speak, we realized every single thing had to be conceptualized and every single thing had to be built, and we realized it needed an army.
Yeah. You showed me a photograph of Ashwatthama, who has aged and is now
fighting Bhairava. Yeah.
Fighting Bhairava. And for someone to have had that kind of a visual in mind, and then to be told about the title, Kalki, and 2898 AD, and I couldn't understand that. So, maybe you could explain for the benefit of the audience.
Core of the story was the first scene in a way. So 6,000 years after the death of Krishna.
Which is what comes in the subtitle.
Yeah. So
6,000 years have passed ever since Krishna gave the shrap to
Ashwatthama. Yeah. So 6,000 years after when Krishna is said to have left his body was 3,102 BC. So to speak. So exactly that would lead up to 2898. The story of Ashwatthama happens after the 18 days of the Kurukshetra.
Yeah.
It happens at the very end, like after the victory, after everything. This is probably
18 days of the war for Kurukshetra.
Yeah. After the 18 days of the war, this is the last thing that happens in the Mahabharata, so to speak. The most important confrontation between the Pandavas and the last Kaurava, so to speak. Yeah. So I felt that this was the ending of this story, sort of, but it's also the beginning of another story.
Yes.
And it doesn't finish. Like, I feel it's not finished. We just, even in the Mahabharata, for what I have read, it just is like Ashwadhama is cursed and he walks into the woods. Like he leaves Krishna and Bhima and everybody aside and he walks into the woods. We don't know what happened to him. So that's like a starting of a story. Now I wanted to know, like, if this man is cursed and he has been witnessing this entire Kali Yuga, like that's the most interesting thought process, like, because he is this ultimate warrior but he's not interfering in the events of the Kali Yuga because he has a larger purpose. So I felt that it was audacious in a way for me to attempt to think that I'm finishing something that was left in the Mahabharata, but I was like, nobody's done it yet, so let's give it a shot.
Yes.